Hey guys, what's up? Welcome back. Today we're talking about some things you absolutely need to do on your next photo shoot. Personally, I am a portrait photographer, but things I'll be talking about today can definitely be used for lots of different genres of photography. So maybe you're a concert photographer, maybe you shoot wildlife. You'll definitely be able to pick up a few tips and tricks, so stick around. Before we get started, I wanted to talk about a giveaway I'll be doing soon on my Instagram. If it's not already happening right now on my Instagram, I'll be giving away the camera that I'm currently filming with. So if you like this quality, definitely head on over to my Instagram. It's super easy to enter. And that camera is the Nikon ZF. I made a video all about the ZF because I was a part of the campaign launch with Nikon. And now I'm at the point where I am a Nikon creator official partner. So that means that I'll just be working with them throughout the entirety of the year on different things like this giveaway. I'll also be doing an in-person workshop, lots more, and that's easy for me because I already talk about Nikon so much. I've been working with them for years and years now, and it's super cool to be able to take this next step. But back to the ZF for a second, because if you're gonna win this camera, you probably wanna know a little bit more about it. It's a mirrorless camera inspired by their old FM2 film camera. So it really looks just like an old film camera. And it also feels like it too while you're shooting because of the top deck. It has all of the manual adjustments just like film cameras do. So maybe you're a film shooter and like that style of shooting. This camera will feel like the perfect combination between shooting with film and shooting with digital. It also has a dedicated black and white button. So you literally just have to flip a switch and you're suddenly shooting in black and white in real time. So super cool. It has a full frame sensor at 24.5 megapixels and it shoots 4K video. It can also go up to an ISO of 64,000. So it's truly such a great camera, and it's also not that pricey. So if you don't win the giveaway, maybe you want to think about picking one up for yourself. One of my favorite parts and why I've been using it a ton, especially with my YouTube videos, is the flip out screen. So right to my right side, I can see myself exactly how I look right now, and I can make adjustments so I don't have to kind of guess what's going on in the frame. Super, super helpful if you're maybe getting into vlogging or YouTube. I can't say enough good things about this camera. So go enter the giveaway on my Instagram. It's at BrandonWolffull. So first things first, the things to do for your next shoot. We need to think about what we're actually taking pictures of. Are you just grabbing your camera and heading out into the world and hoping to come across something cool? Or are you planning a photo shoot with a model or a friend, or you're taking photos of a family? There's obviously so many things to take photos of, but for me, it's thinking about what is my inspiration for the shots I want to get. And this can literally be anything. To give you some ideas, it could be maybe a song or a song lyric that you want to base your photo off of. It could maybe be a lighting setup that you found on Pinterest or on Instagram, or it could be a makeup look that you saved for later to recreate. Just having one thing to kind of snowball your photo shoot planning off that really helps. In my case, for this photo shoot that I'm going to be talking about today, it was the fact that I got two new lenses. The first lens was a Nikon Z 70 to 200 millimeter f 2.8 lens, and the other lens was a Nikon 8 to 15 millimeter f 3.5 to 4.5 fisheye lens. Actually, my previous video on here is me unboxing those two lenses and kind of talking through why I got them. Again, just having one thing to kind of further develop your idea. I secured a model and also got her measurements because the next step in my process was to order a bunch of clothes that kind of fit the vibe that I was going for. I also didn't really have the time to work with a stylist or anything like that because the shoot was literally in a few days after we agreed to shoot together. So I went ahead and ordered a bunch of clothes from this company called Jaded London. Thought with the fisheye lens being sort of super unique and grungy, that a company with the style of clothing that they have would be the perfect combination. I went ahead and selected rush shipping on this, but because I never trust the mail, I went back to the drawing board and tried to figure out some backup outfits just in case they didn't come. Spoiler, they never came, so I'm very glad that I did this for myself. And this is something I wanted to bring up as a reminder for you guys to just be over prepared for your photo shoots. This can go in very different directions and not just pertain to the clothes for a photo shoot. Maybe it's your memory cards or batteries or even an extra camera body. Always be over prepared. I feel like to this day I still, run into issues on shoots where I forgot something or something's not really working out. But going into a shoot where I have way more than I need just makes me feel so much more comfortable and more relaxed on the actual shoot day, where a lot is going to be going on and you're going to be pretty stressed either way probably. So what I did for some backup clothes is I use this app. This is not sponsored, but the app is called Pickle, but it lets you rent different clothes, dresses, shoes, or bags from people near you. And I know this is a pretty popular app here in New York City where I live, because a lot of girls will use it for different events and like weddings, and there's a ton of different categories for you to choose from. And I was like, I'm gonna use this for my model this time around. I'm definitely not anywhere near a stylist, but I feel like at this point I know what I like and what looks good in photos. So I went ahead and with my model's measurements, I looked up a bunch of dresses and found 2 different dresses that I thought would look super cool and fit the vibe I was going for. So I explained to the owners of the dresses that I would like to use them for a shoot. The day before the shoot, I went ahead and picked up the 2 dresses from the owners and felt just confident that I had something to work off of. At this point, I didn't know that the clothes weren't gonna arrive because they said that they were, and then they didn't. This is the point where I book a studio and then work on a mood board. And I don't think mood boards are always essential, especially if you're just going out for fun, taking pictures of maybe the city you're in or strangers on the street or something like that. But in my case, I feel like it's pretty essential just to have everyone in the know, so everyone knows what your vision is and can work off of that. Just like producers on film sets will kind of keep everyone in line and keep the flow of the shoot going, try to be that maybe for your own photo shoots. Come prepared with different poses maybe that you want the model to try. Everyone's a little different, so maybe for you it's sketching out the lighting setups the night before. For stuff like this, I either use Photoshop or Canva. I feel like Canva especially is just super easy to use because there's already a ton of templates. So I'll go on there and just play around with the clothes that I have secured and the colors and the model and the studio, and just input all of that into my little PDF and then send that out to anyone who's involved in the shoot. In this case, it was just the model. I had an assistant with me and then the makeup artist. And within that little PDF, I also included everyone who's going to be there on set that day, and then also just the studio and the address, the date and the time, just so everyone can refer to that for the shoot. And it just feels really organized and everyone is in the know. So even if it's just a small test shoot like I had this time around, I still like to prepare for it like it's this big production, just so myself and everyone else feels comfortable with what they're walking into that day. I know that this time around I was shooting in a studio, but if you personally are shooting outdoors, you also want to keep an eye on the weather. Along with the weather, you want to think about what time of day you're shooting at. You know, do you want to shoot in the morning? Do you want to shoot in the afternoon when the sun's a little bit higher in the sky? Or do you want to shoot into golden hour, blue hour, nighttime? There's so many things to think about with time of day. So definitely keep that in mind. And also things like permits for wherever you're shooting. One time around on a shoot for Nikon, actually, I had this really cool arboretum in mind to shoot at. And luckily I looked into all the rules and kind of regulations they have in place, because the second we stepped foot on that location, someone drove by and immediately asked if we had location release and permit. And I did, which felt super relieving. But if you don't look into stuff like that, you could ruin your entire shoot day. There's ways to get away without doing those things, especially if it's just maybe you and a friend shooting around. It may not look like a big production, but in this case, it was like a bunch of people showing up with a bunch of different gear. It was pretty obvious that we were shooting. You can always go the route of saying it's for a school project, but that doesn't always work, unfortunately. And also, if these photos are for something specific, definitely think about and look into model releases or talent releases. If anyone is appearing in the back of your video, sometimes you even need a release for that. If I'm on a photo shoot for a client, they will more than likely request everyone involved to sign a release, and sometimes even an NDA if the project that I'm working for is not fully out in the world just yet. I think you guys already know, but I've been in my sort of studio era, so I've been booking all my shoots in studios on period your space. So in my case, all I did was communicate with the host of the space what I was doing, locked in the amount of hours I wanted to shoot there, and just communicated with him for how to get into the space. Some other stuff you might want to think about for your next photo shoot is having someone there to record behind the scenes. And maybe that's not their entire job. Maybe they're also helping assist and set up lights. But I think with how social media is going, with what people like to see now, it almost feels like behind the scenes and how to get the shot and just content surrounding live footage from your shoot sometimes feels almost more engaging than the actual shot itself, which can definitely be disappointing, but I think it's super helpful to have. Another thing to think about is getting snacks and drinks for the people that are on set or location with you. In my case, again, it was only including myself, 4 people, but still just coming with different food, protein bars, waters, puts everyone else in a better mood, I found, throughout the day, with just snacks being there. And, you know, it's just professional to be able to provide things for your team, especially when you're the one directing the shoot. Last thing I'm going to mention for you to do on your next shoot is credit the people that you did the shoot with. The shoot wouldn't come together completely if not for the other people involved. So always making sure they're tagged, credited anywhere that you share the images. All right, I'm sure I'm forgetting some things, but if you have your own essential things that someone must do for their next photo shoot, definitely leave it in the comments below. I want to hear maybe your process for preparation and how you go about it. And maybe you do none of these things, and maybe you just take your camera and go outside and you walk away with some awesome photos. I think that's the really cool thing about photography, is that sometimes you don't need to do anything at all. You just need to find the light, find a great composition, and fire away. Don't forget to go to my Instagram to find all the details about the giveaway. And that's everything, I think. I'll see you next time. Bye.